Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on this Wednesday morning. Alex Meese from Fargo Davie is going to join us here in a few minutes, chat about his commitment to play football at Minnesota State University Moorhead. We're going to stick in the NSIC for our next segment. I said earlier in the show, I mentioned I saw this story on my phone when we were down in Sioux Falls. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is interesting. That came out of Bismarck regarding the University of Mary. Headline read just like this: UMary commits to fully fund NCAA Division II athletic scholarships. Bold commitment places UMary among elite D2 programs nationally. I'm like, all right, well, that's a big deal because there's just not many Division II programs, heck, Northern Sun programs that do that. Marcus Wagner is the AD at the University of Mary and joins us this morning to answer all the questions I have about how this came about. And he joins us now to dive into that. So the simple question is, how did this all come about?
Yeah, no, appreciate it, Dom. Great question. Right, 2015, 2016, the University of Mary, planted its stake in the ground, creating the Marauders Armada, right? And so the focus of the Marauders Armada to fundraise to help support scholarships at the University of Mary for scholar athletes, right? And so the vision from the inception of the Armada has been how do we get to a fully funded model in terms of athletic aid at the University of Mary. And so again, that's been the focus for a number of years at the university. It's something that we're passionate about is enhancing the scholar athlete experience, right? We're really excited about what we are doing, both on the court, on the field in terms of athletic competition, but also the formation that we're aiming for, with our scholar athletes and with the young people that come to our campus. And so, right, we like I said, set out with that goal in mind a number of years ago, and now we're in a spot where the university is able to help out in a really exceptional way, so long as we keep up our end of the bargain, right? The work's not done. It's not like we've arrived and great, everybody can pack up and go home. And right, you mentioned it. There's very few out there doing it, and the NSIC is incredibly deep. Division II is a competitive brand of athletics, top to bottom, and so. Right, we're excited about what that means for us here on the campus, right? Like I said, we've still got plenty of work to do, but that's really always been the goal, right? And so as we continue to have conversation on our campus around, how do we enhance that scholar athlete experience while maintaining our financial viability and fiscal responsibility. And I think that's really the name of the game
Yep.
for every single institution in higher education, regardless of the level. You look at the big D1s right now with house settlement, and are you going to opt in? Are you not going to opt in? And all the way down, to our peers at the NAI level that are trying to figure out again how do we keep the lights on and the doors open and continue to advance, right? Not just to be happy with status quo. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. Again, it's not something that happens overnight, and we're excited about it.
So, Marcus, you have 18 sports on campus. That's roughly probably about 500 athletes. So, for people that don't know, meaning fully fund, the NSIC has limits. I'm not going to ask you to know all the limits. I'm sure you do because that's part of your job. But let's just take football, for example. I believe the NSIC is at 36 right now is the limit?
Yep.
Okay. So that means starting when I believe this season, right, you'll be able to fully fund then for 36 football scholarships.
Yeah, really, really good question. Appreciate you asking that one, Dom. So I'll protect Aaron Lind and the NSIC a little bit, right? The NCAA actually sets
Okay.
our limits at the Division II level, and so you're exactly right. The limit for NCAA Division II football would be 36 equivalencies, right? So a little bit different than the Division I
Right.
model, where if it's helpful to think of kind of like a salary cap, where the NCAA says you can spend this much money on athletic aid for given sports. And you're right, every single sport has a different amount set by the NCAA that we're allowed to award an athletic aid. And so, right, that doesn't change anything for us, right? I mean, our coaches, since the NCAA moved to that model, I want to say 2014 is when they moved to that
Yeah.
model. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But right, they've all of our coaches, every coach at the Division II level has been trying to figure out, okay, I got 36 scholarships for football equivalencies that I'm allowed to dole out, and I've got a roster of 100, 105, 110. Again, pick your poison there, right? And so, how do I take this money, this overall big pile of money, and how do I divvy that out to be able to go recruit and retain really quality scholar athletes? that are going to be able to compete at this level and also, uphold the academic standards and live up to the academic rigor that Division II is proud of, right? So you're exactly right. And again, some of our programs have already been fully funded. Some of our programs have been really close. And then others, are going to see an increase in that athletic aid bucket. And so, right, that's really how the landscape looks at the Division II level, which again is unique. And like you said, most people, unless you're really in tune to it or you're doing it every single day,
Right.
probably don't know that. And so again, our coaches are still going to have to be creative, right? It's not like every kid coming to the University of Mary or anywhere else that's fully funded for any
Correct.
program, right, is going to be on a full ride for all of the kids. That's not what this means, right? It just means that, for the majority of our programs, right, that there's going to be potentially some extra athletic aid available.
Your
In
your
terms of, go ahead.
I was just say, sorry, your coach has got to be doing jump, like just flying when you told them this. Like, what was their reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I think for some, right, like I said, some of them were already fully funded, right, and so for them, it's kind of business as usual. For others, it's an increase, right, and so yeah, right, it doesn't come without headaches, because hey, everyone sees this and can get more money, or how does that look, or again, now the scale really just slides, right, for those coaches, and so. Overall, really positive. I mean, I think we've got a really resilient group of coaches that understand, and want to live into the standards that we've set at the university and what competition looks like in the NSIC. And so, right, I think overall, the metric hasn't really changed of what we're aiming for and how we're measuring ourselves in terms of success on the court or the field and off. But certainly, right, it's now a new wrinkle for them, and in the same way that the House settlement for Division I is a new wrinkle, in the same way that the NIL era continues to change daily. I think there was a new release on House settlement stuff last night, and so right, they're responsive and they're resilient, and so certainly we'll have to figure some things out, and again, we can't put the cart before the horse necessarily, but yeah, we're excited about it, and we're moving and shaking.
You mentioned earlier, honestly, the work now really begins. Fundraising is the name of the game to fund these scholarships. How much more does this put on your plate? This number one job for AD is the fundraise. In my in my experience, what is that? How does that change now with this now on the table?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So, in terms of what does it add? Not a not a ton in terms of what's the focus. Okay, well, we gotta go be able to raise funds. And again, that's not exclusive or unique to the University of Mary. That's every single institution across the entire higher education landscape. What are you fundraising for might change, but overall everyone's in the same boat. Right. And so that's not new hat. That's very much old hat. And we got to be more efficient with it. We've got to, continue to support our coaches in really exceptional ways when they're out in the community talking to people that care about our programs. But we do, right? We've got to continue to hit our mark. I mentioned the Marauders Armada was brought about over a decade ago or so now, and right, the university has seen that we've been able to sustain some of our fundraising efforts. Right, we've got some ideas of how we want to continue to grow that. But like I said, it's not like we've arrived and now we can take our foot off the gas. We've got to continue to be able to fill that gap, right? So the university, like I said, is stepping up in a really exceptional way for us. But we've got to continue to do our part, and we need our supporters to continue to show up for us.
Marcus, do you think this opens the door for more athletes to come, or even better athletes now that this is going to happen at your school?
Yeah, I mean, I think you mentioned, Dom, we've got 18 NCAA Division II sports. We've got, a couple club sports here on campus. And so, yeah, we're over 500 scholar athletes. I think in terms of the additional athletic aid, I don't know if we'll see an influx of more athletes, right? I think every program across the entire country is trying to figure out how do you get the best athlete for the right amount of money. And again, that's absolutely everyone. I think, for us, we're continuing to focus, like I said, on the scholar athlete experience. We're really excited about Greatness Through Virtue and what that looks like at the University of Mary, right? Forming young people, putting them in positions to, graduate with a degree and not just have a technical degree and not have a really great athletic experience, but to be able to go out and be servant leaders in their community and hopefully keep North Dakota's and Minnesota's best and brightest, around the area. And so, that'll continue to be our focus. I think, our coaches do a really, really phenomenal job about finding the right kids, right? We talk about, the University of Mary is unique, and we're certainly not for everyone, and that's okay, right? That's the beauty of higher education. That's the beauty of the world that we live in. And so, right, our coaches do a great job of focusing on finding the right kids that are going to find a home at the University of Mary, right? And are going to find themselves happy here and fulfilled and be open to what we have to offer. And so I don't necessarily know if I would say that certainly in terms of numbers, we're not looking to grow our enrollment in athletics, in an exceptional way. We want to remain healthy. We're in a really good spot there. And then, yeah, you hope that maybe you can land a couple more scholar athletes at a really high level. But I would also argue, we've been in the top 3-4 of the NSIC all sports standings since 2020, 2021. I would put up, and I think it's reflective of the NSIC. I'd put our scholar athletes up against absolutely anybody in the entire country, in terms of the quality, both athletically, but also as human beings. And so hopefully, again, this just makes it more affordable to get a degree. Makes the University of Mary, with our facilities expansion, with the work that's been done over the last 10 years to update the University of Mary, it makes it a really viable option for those both in North Dakota, but also the surrounding region and even farther out.
Last thing before I let you go, I was out in Bismarck not that long ago. I know they've broke ground on your new complex, which means new football stadium, everything coming in 27. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
It's transformative. You got to be excited about that. So this happening on top, and everybody loves anything new, especially with sports related. I mean, there has to be some real momentum at the school right now, right?
You have to feel that way, right? If you're here, I think the work that's been done leading up to this point maybe isn't getting the recognition. I mean, so we're in phase 2 of a 3-phase capital campaign that started, over a decade ago, and our administration, our board of trustees, former administration, even at that point, had the vision to say, here's where we want to be, and here's what we want the University of Mary to look like. And if we're going to remain viable in a really competitive, really volatile higher education market, we can't just do one thing. We've got to do all of these things, right? And so we've added a school of engineering. We've revamped our school of health sciences. We've added residence halls. We've got on-campus dining 24/7, 365. Right? New classrooms, new study spaces. And so again, the athletic facility really is just an extension of all of that, right? And so we kind of joke that we knew it was a great place. We knew it was exciting, and now everyone else is hopefully going to be able to see that. And that's really the focus, right? Not only to enhance the scholar athlete experience, to give our student body a place to come and gather and support their classmates, but also an opportunity to welcome the Bismarck Mandan communities in the region to our campus with a new football stadium, with a research and performance center, with a sports dome that can be utilized, year round, with a new track and field. All of those things, again, are dual purpose in the sense that we certainly are going to take advantage of them, and they're game changers for us. And it's hard not to point to those and say, hey, we are moving in the right direction. But more than that, Dom, really, it is an opportunity for us to continue to welcome the community of the University of Mary into our campus and to live into our mission, which is to meet the needs of the people of this region and beyond.
This was great, bud. Thanks for giving us the inside intel. And they keep that Newman guy in order out there because we like having him on the show. And we'll do this again soon, okay?
I tell you what, he's tough, man. He's a tough one. No, he's great. Rick's phenomenal. I know you guys go way back, and yeah, hopefully I can keep him here, keep him happy, and he does phenomenal work with our women's basketball program. So we're thankful for your coverage, Dom. We're thankful for you having us on and all the work that you do for sports in North Dakota and Minnesota.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it. Thanks for the time. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Very good. Thanks again.
Marcus Wagner, UMary AD, joining us on the school will now be fully funding all 18 sports for their scholarships. It's a big deal. There can't be more than a dozen that do that in all of Division II happening down the road in Bismarck. We'll break. We come back. You'll meet one of the EDC's top football players. Alex Meese from Fargo Davies will join us about committing to play football for the Dragons. It's coming up on the other side of the break. Hot Mike back right after this. There he is.